Hey guys, it's your boy, the Soda Popper from Animerisk here, and it's been a minute. And if you told me I'd be power scaling the godmother of anime herself, Sailor Moon, I'd probably say it sounds like something I'd do. But if you told me I'd be writing a script for it, I'd actually flip, since I actually hate writing scripts for literally anything. That, and I can't record an unscripted video for sure. However, I believe that a lot of people don't actually know how strong she is, or more importantly, the people who do know how strong she is don't actually know why she's as strong as she is. I really want to talk about this because whenever I see people talk about Sailor Moon, they always preface about how strong she is. However, they don't really give any reason to why her power level is really so high. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Before I begin, I do want to preface that this will be talking about the Sailor Moon manga and the Sailor Moon Crystal anime, as well as the Sailor Moon Eternal films, since each of these have been supervised by Takuchi herself. This will also be going over the materials collection, which is its own little art book thing that does talk about the characters in the manga. I am perfectly alright with not going over the Toei anime. I'm not going to say anything more about that, since that isn't canon. But yeah, with introduction and boring stuff out of the way, let's get into it. I hope you all enjoy. From the fearsome Dark Kingdom and their Queen Metalia to the Sailor of Destruction Galaxia, Sailor Moon has had her fair share of villains to combat and ultimately defeat. But the question when it comes to her immense battle prowess is how was she actually able to defeat all these villains with such ease? From characters who can render entire planes of magical power like Elysium to nothing but dust and ruins, and characters who can rupture space-time by merely existing, how's it all possible? The answer lies in the legendary Silver Crystal, a powerful gem that is gifted from Queen to Princess throughout the timeline of Silver Millennium. While this glorified shiny rock doesn't seem like much on the surface, something as small as this is insanely powerful, causing phenomena like Sailor Moon being able to light up the entire Sailor Moon cosmos in seconds, and even allowing her to fight against Galaxia head-to-head after being damaged in a fight with 8 anima mates, with Galaxia being a foe who was so powerful that she was able to one-shot every other Senshi up to this point. All of this incredible power comes from the Silver Crystal, with the crystal having been stated to have infinite power on many occasions. Even so much so that the entire goal of each villain is to take the Silver Crystal to utilize its infinite power for themselves in one way or another, to become rulers of the entire universe. However, Sailor Moon has access to all this power, and potentially even more than that. This is because the Silver Crystal's true power is stated by Queen Serenity herself to only be able to be truly utilized by someone of royal blood, which is not only Sailor Moon, but also Sailor Chibi Moon, who are both able to use its power to its highest potential between each other. And with all this in mind, you'd really be able to put into perspective just how much power that really is, especially once Stars rolls around, where Sailor Galaxia, a Senshi who travels from galaxy to galaxy searching for a power that rivaled her own, states that with the Silver Crystal she'd be able to create a new history, as well as Chaos saying that it would be able to create a new universe, all within the same span of 3 pages. Even Princess Kaku tells Sailor Moon that her Silver Crystal disrupted space-time, showing a flashback to when Sailor Moon released her power on Nemesis all the way back with the Black Moon Clan. Death Phantom even regarded this as a light that traversed space-time, and could even see it in his castle, which was stated to lay on the edge of space-time. So to think that someone not of royal blood could use the Silver Crystal to that extent is wild. Especially when you consider that Sailor Moon's Silver Crystal just releases more power the more it's used, while also being linked to her actual emotional state, like Queen Serenity also stated when explaining its powers, such as when she fought 8 Sailor anima mates at the same time, each of these being relative to Eternal at the time, where her attack was blocked by Sailor Venus, who regarded her stronger attacks as dancing through a breeze, only to then get hit by the exact same attacks after Sailor Moon strengthened her resolve after being damaged, able to one-shot all 8 anima mates at the exact same time. This same Eternal being as strong, if not stronger, than the previous one that fought and killed Queen Nehelenia, who was able to maintain entire parallel mirror universes by merely existing, as well as breaking apart said mirror universe, while the 2 other strongest Senshi, Saturn and Chibi Moon, could not break Nehelenia's magic that trapped them into glass shards. Even Nehelenia noted that she thought Super Sailor Moon, the previous transformation, was incredibly strong just by walking through the mirror in the first place, of which was just ultra casually while chasing the enemy, while the others just bounced off of it. And even when Eternal went to fight against Galaxia, the two were actually on even ground, and Galaxia even says that she knows that Eternal Sailor Moon wasn't using her full power, but instead was trying to draw it out throughout their fight. Galaxia, who at the time just appeared in the 20th century, was sending, as Sailor Pluto called it, a terrible maelstrom that's sending out powers in ripples through time that may change history itself. This is also implied to be Galaxia just in base when she confronts Sailor Moon, or rather Usagi, in the city, being able to destroy the Holy Grail with ease, an artifact that held the power of all the 9 other Senshi in itself, as well as Usagi thinking that Galaxia was stronger than everyone they ever faced prior. However, this Galaxia that's supposed to be relative to Eternal ends up noting that Chaos didn't even see her as a threat, while it saw Sailor Moon as the strongest in the universe, as well as Sailor Chibi Chibi, who was unknown to be Sailor Cosmos to them, telling Sailor Moon that she was the only one that could destroy the Galaxy Cauldron, which is the place where all stars are reborn. And this is all before getting into Lambda power, by the way. Speaking of which, Lambda is one of the most powerful yet unexplained powers in the entirety of the Sailor Moonverse, only appearing in the final chapter alongside Sailor Cosmos and her true form. During the battle with Chaos, Sailor Moon decides to gather all of the powers from all Senshi from across the galaxy and in the cauldron to take them down. As Sailor Cosmos, the ultimate future version of Sailor Moon, describes it, Lambda is a power used by those who gain the title of Cosmos via the Cosmos Crystal, being a power that reverts everything to the static cosmos. Sailor Moon, despite only using this power once, unknowingly by the way, was able to use Lambda to combat Chaos, the ultimate entity that all of Sailor Moon's enemies had originated from, as stated by Chaos himself. Lambda just has a random amount of hacks that just make it that much more insane, such as being able to regenerate Sailor Moon from within the cauldron after dissipating into nothing but her crystal, and even just by releasing it, tearing Chaos apart to the point where he was reverted to being too small to ever be found within the cauldron again, to even reviving all the Senshi within the cauldron. Even Sailor Cosmos states that due to this, Eternal was able to meld into the Sea of Origin within the cauldron to force out Chaos in every enemy from within it, as well as it being Lambda that brought back the Senshi and returning Sailor Chibi Moon to the 30th century. She even went on to talk about how she herself couldn't defeat Chaos in the Eternal War, choosing to run away rather than continue to fight, since even if Cosmos had managed to win, the damage Chaos had caused by the war would have been too great for her to recover everything, only to then praise Eternal about her unrivaled power. This means a lot considering that Cosmos was someone who practically knew everything about the Lambda power, and once the battle had concluded, Cosmos stated that Sailor Moon at the time was stronger than she currently was, and even gave her the title of Cosmos, saying that she'd come back for the title when she was as strong as she was. This is only made even more incredible since Cosmos is just built different, being able to transport the entire Sailor Quartet all the way to the 30th century casually from the cauldron just by waving her staff, and being shown that she did fight with Chaos and was at least relative to him, though she did run away due to her not having the courage to stand on her own, unlike Sailor Moon, and being unprepared to fight against Chaos in the war and calling him the mightiest enemy they've ever faced, falling all the way back to the 20th century to get Usagi then, as she knew she could defeat Chaos at that time. It's mainly just a bunch of narrative stuff, considering we've had a grand total of 26 pages to see it in action and an explanation. But it's mainly to show that this power, despite only seeing it for so long, is still something insane, as something of reality warping on a universal scale and on a timeline just seems like something that shouldn't be skipped over, especially when one of the people at the highest tiers in the verse is praising it. So, post-recording note, I just looked back and realized that I called Chaos him the entire time during the recording, while completely forgetting that Chaos is actually female. And while I would go back and change that, that will require me to re-record all of that, so I'll let you bully me for it later. So, I could just make this speed segment insanely short and just end it all here, but just saying 2 words and giggling wouldn't warrant this taking as long as it did to make, so I'll give you some feats that can have numbers on them before going into that next argument. Talking about speed, the Stars arc mainly gives us a baseline on how intimidating our enemy Galaxia is. Remember how I brought up that Galaxia was able to one-shot every other Senshi up to this point? Yeah, so what if I told you they were all speed blitzed without any way of reacting to it? While each of her anime mates are given power by her to make them relative to her, each one of them was able to be beaten by a Senshi, while Galaxia was able to just hit them before any of them realized what was happening next. Each time Galaxia eviscerated a Senshi, it was directly from Shadow Galactica, a palace built by Galaxia in the center of the galaxy in Sagittarius Alpha. After Galaxia blitzed every other Senshi, Sailor Moon flew, yes, physically flew, all the way to Shadow Galactica, after making pit stops to each of the outer Senshi's castles along with the Starlights. Not only did she fly all the way there, but during her fight with Galaxia as well as with the anime mates that were all somewhat relative to her, she was not only able to dodge but also parry attacks from them. More impressive is that after the fight that injured her, she was able to dodge attacks from a more serious Galaxia that was trying to make Sailor Moon take the fight more seriously. Even if you think this isn't impressive since you don't have a specific time frame, Sailor Chibi Moon was able to intercept an attack from an anime mate on Eternal Sailor Moon with the Sailor Quartet all within a couple of seconds. This doesn't sound like much, but this was right as Chibi Moon had seen Chibi Chibi's light that she sent all the way to Earth right as the attack had started. After seeing this light, the 5 of them flew all the way to where the anime mate Sailor Heavy Metal Papillion? What in God's name? Had already restricted Sailor Moon and was practically about to kill her, this feat being something that puts her into the billions of times faster than light ranges of speed since they were already at Sagittarius Alpha at this point. And Chibi Moon's basically a Sailor Moon without a way of using her powers as well as Sailor Moon can herself. Even then, even lower characters are able to casually travel to planets without issue, like Saturn being able to intercept Galaxia's point-blank attack on Pluto and Charon Castle all the way from Earth mid-attack, and even Venus flinging herself all the way to Venus by accident when she just got the powers before she even first transformed. In terms of the other argument, one of the most well-known feats in the entirety of the series is Sailor Moon lighting up the universe in the Black Moon arc. However, what if I told you that that same light didn't just cover the entire verse? You see, around that same time Usagi was on Nemesis, a planet that lay outside the solar system, Chibiusa had run away throughout the space-time corridor without a key, something that we later learn is sort of a bad thing to do. In an attempt to go find her, the GOAT himself, Tuxedo Mask, goes through a storm ravaging the corridor to go searching for her. During his search, that bright light is seen right behind him traveling through the corridor. The space-time corridor, for those of you who do not know the intricacies of the Sailor Moon lore, is a realm that encompasses all of space and time, being something that allowed our heroes to travel all the way to the 30th century. However, this was with the aid of a space-time key, something that allows for people in the corridor to travel to any point in time that they wish. Without this very key, they'll, as Pluto states, become a wanderer to the space-time interval never to be found again, even going as far as to say that in the corridor, concepts of distance and direction don't apply. Even Pluto thought it would be impossible to find Chibiusa and Tuxedo Mask due to the fact that he didn't have keys on them when they left, since the space in the corridor was so vast. This is also all because of Wiseman's influence into transforming Chibiusa into Black Lady, something that created a massive storm in the corridor that not even Pluto could figure out where it was coming from, only assuming it was Chibiusa due to the revelations unfolding, with this same Black Lady being able to travel all the way to Wiseman's palace, which also laid on the edge of space-time where the heroes couldn't find them. Even Wiseman, who was sitting in his palace at the time of these events, had seen the light from the silver crystal on Nemesis, stating that the light pierced through space-time, with his new adversary stating that it truly was the power of the silver crystal. Want another feat? Well, in the Stars arc, after meeting Princess Kaku for the first time, Usagi is told by Kaku that once she and Endymion had joined hands in Elysium to restore it, everyone in the entire universe learned of the power of Earth's light, and their images spread throughout time-space, which, by the way, is some of the weirdest and dumbest I've ever heard. But then again, I'm reading Sailor Moon, so I've given up on any sense of logic to the scaling here. And it really makes you think of how highly Galaxia thought of herself when she knew how this light was able to do all of this, just to be able to block attacks from a version of Sailor Moon that scales vastly higher to that previous version of Nemesis that she wants to push to the absolute limit. That was something. Please don't ask me to do anything like this ever again. I thought it'd be fun once, but then realized how wonky the scaling was until after the fact. Anyways, this took a lot of time to make, not only because of editing, but also because it took me incredibly long to do multiple rereads of this. Come on man, 40 plus pages a chapter where nothing happens, I'm dying here. So the next vid might not be up for a while, but I am planning on uploading more. However, we do have a full rebranding here, such as a new intro, a new logo, I'm trying my best bro, I can't afford to go to art school, please bro, don't bully me, and a brand new poster child, Animerisk's very own Aliza. Come on, at least introduce yourself, we have people watching.
Oh, pleasure to meet you all. The name's Aliza. As much as I would love to talk with you all for a while, I kind of just got brought here on short notice. So, I'll only ask for you to stick around and enjoy the ride. That way, you'll get to see more of me in the future.
We also have a Twitter, with no one to inform about new projects, meaning you should come over and give us a follow. If you don't, well, I'll at least thank you for making it this far into the video. Be sure to give us a like, maybe sub if you really like my lovely voice. After all, we will probably be making more stuff in the future. Be sure to check the description for links and such, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.